Rob, just reflect on events in Ireland on Saturday. You must be hugely proud of the effort and what the commitment the guys put in what was sadly a task that didn't go anywhere in the end.
I think the hard thing to do is not just try and do everything with hindsight, because that's obviously sometimes the biggest mistake you can make, because you're trying to start to second guess yourself. Because the one thing when everyone's talking about now is, if only we'd have scored one more point somewhere else along the journey, would we have done things slightly differently if we'd have been that competitive and we only had to just force the win. And there's all kinds of things we can do and go round and round in our heads about the things that we maybe could have done differently or done better. But the truth is, we actually have stood up in some big European games and done well, and we got to the final round with something tangible to play for. And there was a large part of that game where that something tangible to play for was just one step away for us. And I think that's a huge statement of intent about the kind of club we want to be. That we didn't go over there and get nowhere near what we needed to achieve. We very nearly won the game. I don't think we were that far away from actually forcing that separation in the points that we needed. And to me, that gives me a lot of confidence going forward that we are learning some lessons. Now, I know you can keep saying that and you keep saying that, but the truth is, the Leinster teams that have had periods of dominance have spent the time getting there. Same with Munster, same with Saracens. Saracens have spent a lot of time working their way through being a good Premiership team before they've kind of learnt a lot of lessons from Europe that you can see make them that bit of an animal that can deal with those scenarios. And we've got to be prepared to still do that hard work and be honest with ourselves to try and make those things happen. But I look at the players and I look at how, as you say, how they committed to that game, and it doesn't look to me like it's far off. Our mistakes happened at other times earlier in the competition when we did, for whatever reason, we got a couple of things wrong. Some of them weren't all of our own making, and but there are certainly things we can improve. I mean, it was a ding-dong battle here, the home game here against Munster. I think we could have played better, and I said to the lads afterwards, I thought there was a little bit more there for us that we didn't quite grab hold of in the early part of that game. Certainly there was a couple of things we did at Cast that allowed Cast to stay in that game with 14 men in the second half that we needed to have done better. And I think if we'd have shown the stubbornness that we did over in Munster this weekend, we would have won that Cast game. And then again, the Gloucester home game. Even now, if someone said to me, how did some of the issues we have in that game arise, I wouldn't fully be able to tell you. But again, it's something that now, I think, talking to players this week, I think it seems like a large number of them are getting it. I think the Munster experience was fantastic for us, just looking at how huge a game it was to Munster, how much of and not just to Munster, but to the crowd, to the city, to the people you talk to. I think it kind of might have just nudged into our guys' kind of psyche. Actually, this can be very, very special, and let's try and make it very, very special for us in the future.
I was going to say, Munster are used to being in that pressure cooker environment, which Saturday was. And do you take some kudos that your opposite number called Chiefs one of the best sides in the world that he's coming up against? Is that something you take positives from, that clubs at that level are looking at us like that now?
I mean, obviously, the truth is, Thomond Park is one of the hardest places in World Rugby to go and win. International teams have found that, and obviously their record in Europe at home is fantastic. So obviously there's some solace that we've gone there and played well. But as I said, just like we shouldn't use too much hindsight to get around our performance at the weekend, we also mustn't use hindsight to protect ourselves too much. And actually there were still a few things that we had to deal with earlier in the pool, and they're lessons I've got to learn, the club have got to learn. But what I said after the game, we are quite a young team in a lot of ways, both in European actual Heineken Cup caps, but also in age. And I think those things will move forward in a positive manner for a number of years yet. And I think those are things that make it very encouraging to carry on working with this group of lads.